Rivers do not drink their own water. Trees do not eat their own fruit. The sun does not shine on itself, and flowers do not spread their fragrance for themselves. Living for others is a rule of nature. We are all born to help each other. No matter how difficult it is, life is good when you are happy, but much better when others are happy because of you.
Good afternoon, viewers. Thank you very much. Good afternoon in Nairobi, Kenya. Good afternoon from London. This is Dr. Matanga, the Political Command Center of Punchline Africa Television, broadcasting all the way from the Political Command Center in London. Viewers across the continents of the world, in Africa, in Asia, in America, waking up, in Canada, South America, in Europe, Russia, China, Australia, and the United Kingdom. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Good afternoon on the continent of Africa. Most of you have woken up already. Some are clicking afternoon, some have just passed a few minutes past afternoon. Thank you very much, all of you, for watching our programs. Today is a great day for me. That today is a day that I look at Africa as my continent. I look at Africa and I weep. But before I do that, I would like to bring you the news from London. The newspaper headlines from London. Today we are not able, Miriam, I don't, let me see whether I have a direct link of Miriam's papers all the way from, I'll run to request the studios to do so right now, to bring me the newspapers. Let me see. Yes, thank you very much. They are here. The newspapers in Nigeria, regional. Let me look at the newspapers first. Oh my God, this is very interesting. Very, very. These newspapers today are a tale of all tales. One thing that interests me about Africa is people seem to be forgetting already about the elections of Nigeria. Nigeria has been on the tips of newspapers. That's how we forget quickly and forget Africa. Now you look at Africa and you don't know what happened in Nigeria with elections. One thing that still keeps me very worried about Africa is the voter turnout. 68 million people failed to turn up. 68 million people did not vote. 60 million people paid taxes and they did not come up to vote. 68 million people don't know their leaders. They did not vote for their leaders. What does this tell you? Doesn't Africa need a transformation of political, social, economic systems that we have, such that people value what an election is, such that people can know that election is one of the most emotive, one of the best tools of gauging whether the governments work well, whether there is democracy building, yes or no. Oh, Africa. Oh, Africa. This morning, I was reading my Bible. Today, I did not go to my Lady Mary Church in Surrey. Neither did I do it when I'm traveling across the continent of Africa. I usually pray with them via video. The provost, we have installed a video because I am an assistant warden of Lady Mary Church in Surrey, in the United Kingdom, down here where I live. Ladies and gentlemen, it is very, very, very important that we remember Matthew chapter 10, verse 14. Paul said, Paul was told by God, by Jesus, say, go ye. Just as the letter of Paul to the Philippians. He said, my brothers, be careful. There is something that is very strange to you people, Christians of Philippi. What is going on? For more than 20 years, 10, 15 years, I've been preaching redemption strategy on African continent. But the people don't listen to me because I'm a black professor, a black doctor who tried to read, who read his books, and even beat the Bazungu in their exercise. Yes, yes, yes. And I've been saying this for a long time. But the people don't understand me. They think I tell them lies. I've been telling you that Africa can only grow when Africa has got a redemption strategy. You can go to Angel Gabriel. You can pray for 1 million days, 1 million years. But once you don't have a redemption strategy, if you don't have a redemption strategy in your heart, yeah, God, let me preach tonight, this Sunday. Let me preach this Sunday. My Africa. I came from a background of a conflict. I came from a background of a conflict to reach United Kingdom. Where I am, it's because of a conflict that was in my country. And therefore, when I preach, when I talk better than a pastor. You better listen to me. Because ye, brothers, we are going wrong. We don't have the hearts of reconciliation. We don't have the hearts of restitution. We don't have the hearts of accountability. We don't have the hearts of remorsefulness. We don't have the hearts of forgiveness. We don't have the hearts of reparations. We don't have the healing hearts. Oi, Africa today. I speak from my notes. Even if you walk me down from the grave, going down to the grave, I'll tell you until you do a redemption strategy. This man from the mountains of Elgon, you remember him. You remember me. You remember my voice that I told you. That I told you that it is on a redemption strategy. And on a redemption strategy, whether you which country, whether you are what, whether you are in Nigeria, whether you are wherever you are, if you don't have a redemption strategy, go and ask God for forgiveness. Because you are wasting your time. You are wasting your time. You are wasting your time if you don't have redemption strategy, accountability, reconciliation, forgiveness. If you don't have those, remorsefulness, to say sorry, I am sorry. I kidnapped children to make them soldiers. But I'm sorry. I introduced that strategy, Dr. Masanga. It worked in our country, Uganda. I want to take this opportunity to thank President Museveni, to thank all the people, President Chisano, Dr. Riek Machar, Dr. Rugunda, my delegation, the peace negotiating delegation, the UN, the EU, the African Union, the East African Community, the IGAD, that supported me, supported the peace process, and I created peace. For those who are doubting Thomases, who don't know it today. Know it today. Because I created peace. I created peace. There will be no gun anymore. A redemption strategy is what is killing Africa. A strategy of paying back is killing Africa. My country, Uganda, for 23 years was massacring each other. President Museveni is watching me. I've tagged you. If you think there is anything wrong, I'm speaking here. God help you and help me today. Because all of us will go before God. There's nothing more than that. All of us. Whether you go first or I go first, Your Excellency, you did a great job. I want to thank you for accepting peace as the only alternative to the ending of the Northern Uganda peace war conflict. The commanders of the LRA who had been indicted by the International Criminal Court could not come on table. Mr. President, you put your commitment on the paper and the letter which you signed, and everybody, the world, the Commonwealth, the Prime Minister of Britain by then, the Prime Minister who replaced Tony Blair, Gordon Brown, my friend, authorized us, some of us who have stayed in Britain for a long time, to attend, to take part, and make sure that the peace process is successful. I want to thank you for the first time in your history. You sat down, you negotiated, you allowed peace, you have peace in Northern Uganda. Thank you very much, God. Thank you very much, God. Thank you very much, God, that peace is holding. 14 years passed to 15 years passed, the peace is holding. I signed the documents. So when I talk about peace in the region, don't underrate me. Don't. If you don't know anything about peace, shut up. Because peace is the most important tenet of life. It is the only one that brings hope to the masses. If you lack it, if you live under a circumstance of state of despondency, most of the Africa we are creating state of despondency. A state of despondence in Africa is being grown up. Ye Africa. When you look across Africa from Nigerian election, a state of despondence. 68 million people disappeared. They never came for a vote. Is there that election? Is that an election? 68 million out of 93.6 million went to Angel Gabriel, disappeared to Satan. Then they have now resurrected as if they were in Nigeria. Jesus, help us. But Matthew chapter 10, verse 14 says, ye, when you preach and they don't receive it, take the dust. Fellow Africans, I might not speak like PLO Lumumba, because PLO Lumumba is a younger man to me. He's in his 50s, late 50s. I am in the late 60s. I'm going home. He respects me, I respect him. I did a subject of political science to a high level that you can't challenge me on any of the theories. If you look at my conflict resolution analysis, Africa, every African country needs a redemption strategy. If you don't agree with me, Kenyans, Ugandans, Zimbabweans, Democratic Republic of Congo, what is killing people in Congo? What is killing people in Congo? You can't have a political, social transformation in Congo because you have not healed. From 1961, Congo has never healed. Congo has never healed. You are not going to heal Congo. You can get the money on Congo. You can go everywhere in the world and grab all the billions and bring and say pretend to be healing Congo. If the Congolese have no redemption strategy, Your Excellency President, former President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, when you get this clip, I am your friend forever. I can take a bullet for you. If the rebels, Mr. President Kenyatta, listen to my message, and I'm sending it to you without fear or of anything, of contradiction, of fear of anything. If they don't tell you who gives them the guns, Mr. President, walk away. You have a life. Yes. Yes. If they don't tell you when they sit with you on table, and if the heads of state surrounding Congo, 9 countries, none of them says, I am the one giving the rebels guns. Your Excellency, you can do a lot for Africa in other parts. But if these guys don't tell you, don't tell you, don't say I'm saying don't discouraging you, it's up to you. But you will call Matanga again one day. And then you will say I was right. If they don't give you, and I repeat, if they don't give you, tell you the names of people who support them, who gives them guns. How do they get the guns? How are they fighting? Food, money. What is it? Who's buying the diamonds? Who are they taking the diamonds to? Whom are they taking the gold to? Yeah, Africa, raise up. Walk away. Matthew chapter 10, verse 14. Walk away. You've done your best. Then the rebels, they always come on my platform and talk to me and say, oh, we are using this pseudonym. The commanders of M23. My brothers, listen to this step. If you are called in Kenya again sometime, I'm very far away from you. But if you are called in Kenya again, tell the chief mediator who gives you the guns. You would have solved part of what we call a redemption strategy. Don't waste our time. I'm coming this afternoon. God has told me I've gone through a lot in the last 38 years in exile. I've learned quite a lot. Those people who, when someone talks about refugee and mishandles them, molests refugees, thinks refugees are of the lowest caliber, look at me. I want to thank the British government, Her Majesty, for having modeled me to this level, for having given me the charisma, the impetus, the courage, the tools of analysis. Your Excellencies, Her Majesty, the late Queen, thank you for your good policy. Her Majesty, you did very well under the Right Honorable Prime Minister, Margaret Thatcher, at the time I entered this great country. You gave us home. You gave us a home to live, a blanket to put on, a shirt to wear, food to eat, a shelter where to stay. I want to thank you. I want to thank the British people for the tenacity and the steadfastness they have given us. The food, the shelter, the blanket, the cover, the transport, the tools, above all, the tools of analysis that I got from United Kingdom universities. I want to thank you, all my professors, all my teachers, all my lecturers, all my fellow students, all of those that I studied with in my universities across United Kingdom. I want to thank you. That this speech goes, that I studied the subject, and I'm telling today, Africa, if you don't have a redemption strategy, if you don't create one in Nigeria, you will kill Nigeria. If Nigerians don't reconcile, if they don't put a political solution ahead to resolve their problem, Nigeria will be no more. If 68 million people out of 93.6 disappear in thin air on election day and appear again after elections and agitate for one or two things, then you have a problem. You have a problem. Are elections being done away with such a huge population? Can this transform Africa? Political and social economic transformation of Africa is possible, ladies and gentlemen. But are we ready to embrace the new wind of hope, the new wind of a younger generation, the younger men who come and work on computer only? They are on social media, but they don't vote because they don't see anything good in an election. Where do they disappear to? Can we give them hope? Can we give them a political hope, a social hope, economic hope? Everywhere in Africa, in Zimbabwe, in Tanzania, I speak like a Mwalimu Nyerere. The voice almost goes near there. Because good leaders don't speak good English. Bad leaders speak very good English, like Obama. What did he leave for Africa? He left a gym and a swimming pool. I would die as Karl Marx. He died with nothing. Africa, wherever you were in Ukraine, wherever you were, you need a redemption strategy. If you don't have 1, accountability, 2, truth-telling, 3, reconciliation, 4, restitution, or the 5, reparation, 6, healing, that is a redemption strategy. If you don't have that, Africa cannot have a political, social, economic transformation. We shall all end up in military coups coming. The whole of West Africa is prone to coups. South Sudan, as I speak, a few minutes ago, I've just received, Dr. Riek Machar has just sent me a letter. Dr. Riek Machar has just sent me a letter. It is very painful. Ladies and gentlemen, it is very painful. I can cry tears. The letter from Dr. Riek Machar, which I have just received. I and Dr. Riek Machar are friends forever. We have been friends. And what I've just received right now is a letter from him. He sent me. I tagged him to listen, to watch this program. And he has just sent me a letter from Sudan People's Liberation Movement, SPLM, SPLA, or in opposition, IO, chairman and a commander-in-chief. I'll pick one paragraph. The Political Bureau condemns and rejects the unilateral removal of Mrs. Honorable Angela Riek Teny as a Minister of Defense and Veteran Affairs in violation of Article 121, which gives each party to the agreement the power to remove representation. I'm reading a letter which Riek has just sent me. And if you tell me Matanga is stupid, go ahead. This is a war coming. In a minute, it's going to go on the floor. I'm telling you, unless we rush quickly. And it says, which gives each party the agreement, the power to remove representatives in the Council of Ministers and nominate replacements by notifying the president. So there is, as I speak right now, the Political Bureau of SPLM in opposition, IO, now says the Political Bureau calls upon the president to revoke the unilateral decree and the Republican order and restate Honorable Angela Teny Riek, Mrs., as a Minister of Defense and Internal and Veteran Affairs. Ladies and gentlemen, in light of this, the above violation, the Political Bureau would like to point out that founded on the premises of collegial collaboration in decision making, the SPLM reiterates it is not going to sit and fold its arms, but it has to take steps if this is not implemented. The letter is here. I think the public needs to see this letter. I hope, Dr. Riek Machar, you'll allow me to share this letter because it's a public document. I would like people in the world to see it. I've just received it from His Excellency Riek Machar, who just sent it to me. It is not easy business as people might think. There you are. The letter is to the public, and I've sent it. If you are my friend, I'm going to publish it to my Twitter handle so that people can read this letter, and you tell me that there is peace in Africa. Then how can peace come when you have a country, when letters of this nature are flying? So, ladies and gentlemen, time and time again, Africa can rise and have political, social, economic transformation. We have the resources. We have the minerals. We have each and everything that we need on our continent. But one thing that kills us, ladies and gentlemen, listen to me. I might not be here tomorrow. And I'm pleading on these steps that will come in two of 10 minutes, 10 minutes. I'm pleading to you that remember my words. Redemption strategy. Look at your country, which is going to elections. Every country in Africa that has deployed elections, that is going to conduct elections this year, has signs of problems, has huge signs of problems. Gabon, Zimbabwe, tomorrow I will be issuing a statement, opinion polls conducted by me, by my organization, Pan-African Forum UK Limited, of the Zimbabwe election outcome. If elections were held today, what will it be? At 9:15 East African time, 8:15 Zimbabwe time, South African time, and the West African time, you can call it whatever time it will be. It will be about 5, whatever time you think. We shall be broadcasting live from here in London. One of the premises upon which we shall do this is to show Africa that every country that is undergoing elections in Africa has trouble. If you didn't know, you better know. Nigeria trouble has just begun. I want to take this opportunity also to thank myself and my organization, and to thank the President of France, Macron. You listen to me. You better give me some. You pay for my services. You better pay for my services, President Macron. I told you, get out of Africa. Get out. Wash your hands. Go and renew. Look at your foreign policy of the French that has killed Africa, enslaved Africa, taken our people to be your players. Yet we are sleeping in cardboards in Paris. I want to thank you for having listened to me, younger man. Mr. Macron, you might be a president of a superpower, but you are still young at 46 years. Some of us saw education before you. Therefore, thank you for listening to us. Your Excellency, the President of France. Now we can start talking. You have said you want to withdraw from Congo, from Mali, Burkina Faso, Central African Republic, where you carry diamonds every night, every day. 2 buses, air buses, leave the Go airport for Banjul. Are there tourists? Are there tourists in Central African Republic? Are there tourists in Central African Republic? That 2 air buses go there every day. What do they carry? Our diamonds, our gold, our minerals, our timber. Do you have timber in Paris? My God. Time has come for us, Africa, to speak for ourselves. And I've spoken. Let me be killed. But for speaking the truth, I'm honored for having been one of the few Pan-Africans left after Mugabe's departure. Most of the presidents on the African continent either people are insincere. Sincerity. You fear Americans. And let me also warn a bit of my American friends. You are the ones causing us problems. At night, you work with the government. And then daytime, you work with the government. Night, you work. What is wrong? We need a better Africa. America, why do you extend sanctions on a poor country, which is 14,000 miles away from your border, and you call it a threat to your foreign and national security? How can Zimbabwe be a threat to your national security? My mother, you produced me that day. In 1955, you brought down this young man. You brought me down. Oh, I didn't know I would do this. It's time to tell the truth. Africa needs truthful friends. You are fragmenting us. You killed Libya. Sarkozy went to kill Libya. Sarkozy used Gaddafi's money to campaign. The court in Paris has found Mr. Gaddafi's killer, the man who bombarded Gaddafi, a very dangerous man, and is going to sentence him to prison. And that man is Nicolas Sarkozy. Why isn't it African Union? Why have you refused to ask for a warrant to arrest Mr. Sarkozy? Were you part of the network that killed Gaddafi? Mr. Dr. Jean Ping, did you delay the plane of the African heads of state for France to drop the bombs and threaten them to stay in Bamako, Mali? Did you or did you not? Should anybody in Gabon give Dr. Jean Ping a vote? No. That's the next country I'm going to campaign against. Don't give Dr. Jean Ping a vote. Give somebody else. It's up to you, but not him. He killed Gaddafi. He delayed the plane of African heads of state that was going to collect Gaddafi. Gaddafi must have, has his problems. He had his problems. But at least he was generous to Africans. Let's talk the truth. And the president picking this clip. If you are not given this clip, you are missing me. Hey, you are missing to hear me. I'm straightforward, and I'm talking about those down and those up. There is that saying in the Bible, those up hear me. Hear me. I'm just giving you how you should direct your affairs in Africa. Otherwise, you are in big trouble. Without a redemption strategy in Africa, we have a problem. Ladies and gentlemen, the transformation of Africa, political, social transformation, and the economic transformation depends on the strategy of redemption strategy, the healing strategy. If we don't heal from the past, if we don't forgive, if we are not remorseful, if we don't account, if we don't tell the truth, if we don't restitute those we have killed and those we have displaced, if you don't reparate those that you displaced and are still strangers in their own countries, you can't progress to political, social, and economic transformation. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. That has been Dr. David Matsanga on Africa Watch, right from London Studios satellite system that is giving us direct injection. We thank our satellite in Berlin. We thank all of you in South Africa who are hosting us and who have hosted us, especially in Berlin. That's why you see Punchline Africa TV is still here. On behalf of my television station, Punchline Africa Television, my radio station, Matsanga's Twitter space, Pan-African Forum, and the Matanga Leaks, and Radio Africa, the Ion Africa, and very many other organizations that I lead. I have struggled for the freedom of the people of Africa. I've won some battles, I've lost some battles. I won the ICC battle in Kenya, in Cote d'Ivoire, in the Bemba case, in Libya. I've stated my case. My applications for on ICC cases are very clear in The Hague. You can go on the ICC website, you'll find them. I've removed the hard disk in case you don't find them. Ask me. I'm also tough in technology. Come back and reason together with me. This is the Africa we want. The only continent that we can ever think about is our continent. If we don't do a redemption strategy in our countries, we shall disintegrate, we shall fight, we shall make uprisings, demonstrations, we shall do so many things. We shall even have conflicts, wars in Congo, in the Central African Republic. Look at Somalia. We need a redemption strategy. This station, therefore, is for Africa, with Africa, by Africa. Ciao.
Rivers do not drink their own water. Trees do not eat their own fruit. The sun does not shine on itself, and flowers do not spread their fragrance for themselves. Living for others is a rule of nature. We are all born to help each other. No matter how difficult it is, life is good when you are happy, but much better when others are happy because of you.